almost there. So close. Hey, folks. Thanks for tuning in to Savage Bamf. We talk about all things fast, furious, and fun. Tonight, we're joined by Mr. Brandon Verhalen of Star Anvil Studios. Brandon, how you doing?
Good. Great. Thanks.
Hey, appreciate you being here. I need to ask your indulgence, sir. I'm going to play our cheesy musical intro. Just 1 second. And that should let you know, gentle viewers, that this is a high production value podcast, a professional podcast, if you will. Only the finest, ethically sourced, farm to table geeky conversations for your podcast listening pleasure. So, Brandon, let's talk about, you're doing a really interesting, unique project, and you are the first publisher I know personally to ever do this. You're doing an audiobook of Saints and Synners for Savage Worlds.
Yeah, well, it's being done through Audio RPG, so I'm not doing it so much as I've licensed to be done. So the good news is I don't have to figure out how to do that part of everything. The professionals are doing it.
Well, that's the best kind of project, right?
But yeah, I mean, yeah, it intrigues me because I mean, there's accessibility for some people who have a hard time reading, visual, or it could just be simply some people are just better learners by hearing. So it's an interesting way to explore it, and I am curious to sit down and listen to the entire book be read when it's done.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. I'll be honest, when I first heard about audio RPG books, I'm like, well, that's an interesting niche. Who's going to listen to that? And then I was thinking, most of the novels I'm taking in these days, I'm taking in while I'm driving. I got a 12-year-old. I spend a lot of time driving to school, after school activities, driving to scout stuff, driving to snowboarding. So I've gone through, for instance, the whole Dungeon Crawler Carl series, which is a lot of thick books in the last 6 to 8 months, all while driving. So
yeah,
it's when I have time to do it. So I can definitely see it making sense. And so this is really, how do they do this? I mean, I'm just curious. They got a guy in the studio. Do they?
Yeah, they have a guy who reads it. You can actually, if you click play on that, when everyone goes to the website there and of course clicks and buys it or just listens to it, it gives you a sample. It's a pretty just real clean read of things. And I think for me, it's going to be for me personally, I like listening to the lore the most, right? That's the section that's going to read the most like a book in the traditional sense, even if it's a bit, technical in some ways. I mean, so yeah, it's just going to be a very, I haven't gotten to listen to this particular one yet. It's not done until after the Kickstarter. I mean, the backer kit crowdfunding. So I can't tell you exactly what it'll sound like yet, other than the snippet you can listen to there, but I have a basic idea,
All right, that's cool. Yeah, the lore stuff I can see listening to. I would guess I'm wondering what it's like listening to the rules content.
Yeah, it's going to probably, there's obviously, you can buy other books that are already available. They have quite a few that, the Savage Worlds Core rulebook is available. So, it's going to read, very technical when you get to that part. And I again, if you're just trying to listen to, like you said, you're driving, you want to listen. Yeah. Would you want to listen to that every day? No, but you're like, I'm trying to remember how those mechanics worked or whatever. Sometimes just listening to them and like it just gets into your head, and then without you having to read it while you're driving, you can kind of absorb some info. Then when you go back and read it, you'll absorb it some more. So I think it definitely has its uses no matter what. It's just different approaches for different people.
All right, but this is very interesting stuff. Because I am a consummate professional, I created a tiny URL for your project, tinyurl.com/SNS, like Sam, Nathan, Sam, audiobook, or Saints and Synners. Folks can go there right now. You have 7 days left, and you are, let's just say you're 1,000% over goal. So definitely funded, definitely going to happen. This is a great time to jump on the bandwagon and check it out. So
the other thing that's cool about it is they're also offering the ability to order a offset print of the book, which we haven't been able to do because, small company, we're not making enough money to just print the book normally. So you can order POD stuff. We turned that off during this so that people wouldn't find out they could have ordered it here instead. But, if you want to really that nicer, better paper, so to speak, the sharper images and clarity, that's available as part of it too. So I think that's a pretty cool thing for those that are interested in that. And if you can get the book and the PDF and the audio. I think it's like $39. That's a deal, no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
backing right now, and the audiobook's only $23, which is a really good deal for most audiobooks. Well, I didn't realize how much Savage World stuff is out there in audio.
oh yeah, they've done quite a bit on there now.
Yeah, I had no idea there was a wow, Pine Box, Texas, Savage, all the companions.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, okay, that's pretty fun. So
Yeah,
this is a whole movement. This is not just a handful of books here and there and kind of a quirky hobby thing. This is a real thing that's going on.
and they got quite a few Palladium books on there, and I think Traveler as well.
Okay, well that's kind of cool. Hey, there was a question 12 days ago in the comment section. After you back it, you see it. Will the book be softcover or hardcover?
Oh, well, it'll be hardcover.
Oh, you already, yeah, audio RPG already answered. This will be hardcover. Okay, wow. So this isn't just the usual POD softcover. This is you're getting a really nice offset print hardcover of Saints and Synners. So yeah, if you're a fan of this setting, this is a really good deal for you. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like another 1,000 people to join on there and order that. That'd be great.
Well, you're kind of burying the lead. I mean, that's a pretty cool bonus that you have to, kind of dig to find. So, but yeah.
Well, they're an audio RPG company is what their focus is. They're offering the book as like part of the deal. That's pretty cool. So obviously that's what they're going to focus on. But for me, on the other hand, it's like I like both parts, but of course for me, it's more about the book itself.
Yeah.
No, I look at that, but both are great.
All right. Well, hey, folks, to sum up, audio RPG books are a thing now. Get on the bandwagon. It's happening, and it looks like it's pretty cool. And tinyurl.com/SNS audiobook, you can back for less than $25. And if you're driving a lot like I do, which you probably do too, this is something cool to check out now. So 7 days left. Today is the 13th of January. You got till the 20th, so check it out. And while we got you here, Brandon, you are doing a Phase World for Savage Worlds project as well, right?
Yep, coming up pretty soon, this quarter sometime.
Okay,
maybe in March.
If we're lucky, if the stars are right. Well, let me pull it up because you've got some cool art on your Kickstarter page for this. And again, sir, because I am a consummate professional, tinyurl.com/phaseworldrpg will take you right to the Kickstarter page. And let me share that. Who is your artist again? Because I always like the work you have.
Well, we use several different artists. I mean, I think the art you're seeing there is mostly by Annie Ghosh, who's done quite a bit of art for many other RPGs since I got a hold of him. I know that I'm the one who brought him into doing RPGs, and people said, "Who's your artist?" And then he's done stuff for Nine Worlds, Pinnacle, me, Occult City for Carl Kiesler that he's doing. He's done a lot of art for them, and he's done a little bit of art for it's what's the name of it? I forget. It's a friend. Another friend's doing some art. He did some concept art for him and such. But he's doing quite a bit of art for people these days.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it looks good alongside the art you see in the main Savage Worlds book. So you look at this and you kind of think, okay, it's Savage Worlds. Oh, I like his attention to detail. These boots on his werewolf.
Yep, I thought they're cool. If you really pay attention, like this is actually the Fenrir. So originally they were called the Quatoria in Phase World, but because of some separation and licensing that Palladium's doing, so their fantasy world is separate. So while they're essentially a lot the same, we renamed them to the Fenrir to separate for the IP. And if you look in the actual Phase World book that exists already, you'll notice that they have sort of that retrograde. The pad down there is actually that. Then it's actually the foot coming up, and then it goes back to the ankle. So it's not really a giant foot. That just the pad is the foot, that round part that's down there. Then that's the other part of the leg kind of coming up, and the other part of the leg going the other way. So I got the artist to nail that pretty good, I think. So I like that.
Yeah, that's a cool detail that's often overlooked. People draw these kind of species. So yeah, good for you, man. That's awesome. All right, so tell me about. Let's pretend we have listeners who don't know what Phase World is, aren't familiar with Palladium from back in the days. Let's tell them what Phase World is and why it's going to be a good fit for Savage Worlds.
So Phase World was an outgrowth of, it was one of the Dimension books, a series of Dimension books they did based off of rifts. Like it was like, hey, what happens if you go to rifts in space? I think was kind of the idea. You've got rifts to other planets. You have, fantasy magic in space, all the gonzo crazy that's amazing about rifts, but space, sci fantasy. The big difference is it kind of grew into its own thing at this point. So it's its whole own setting. It doesn't really need to be played as part of Rifts. It's its own thing. You can definitely play together because we do have it as a so we talked to both Palladium and Pinnacle that we're able to make the rules compatible. Does that mean every single thing will match exactly? No, but we're going to have like iconic frameworks. So if you play Rifts and you want to, play Phase World, iconic frameworks are there. It's not going to be a different thing for you to learn so much that way. So it's going to play along that power level, characters like that. Enough of the rules are carried over that we were able to get, Pinnacle was kind enough to say you could use that you're going to easily be able to play one or the other and just seamlessly play them together if you want to, but they are indeed separate settings.
Okay, cool.
My cat's attacking me. One moment.
I played a lot of Rifts back in the day because I'm an old guy. But maybe there's someone listening to the podcast now who's under the age of 45, and they're thinking, all right, well, this sounds cool, but why am I playing Phase World instead of Saints and Sinners?
Well, I mean, they're very different universes. Like if you definitely both are sci-fantasy because I mean, Starbreaker has, aliens with, as my friend calls it, aliens with funny heads. They're animal people. They're similar, but whereas Starbreaker's a little more down, it doesn't have the same power curve. For example, if you're wanting to play a more grittier setting, a little more realistic, still pulp action, Savage Worlds, but you don't want to have 50-foot tall aliens and spaceships and stuff like that. It's a very different feel. I mean, Phase World is magic and science. They have an entire civilization called the United Worlds of Warlock. And yes, we have psionics and Starbreaker, which I think are cool. It's not the same kind of thing. It's very different. Yet, yes, it's the same rules, based in the world, Savage Worlds, but it's very different power levels. And if you really like a lot more fantasy, I mean, if you like Starfinder in a sense, would be a good example. But you want to play, you like Rifts, sci-fantasy magic, that's what this is. Whereas Starbreaker's more, criminals on the edge of space or Star Marines, really focused on more like hard, I wouldn't say hardcore, but a more, like I said, a more gritty, less gonzo setting. It's just a preference.
Let me throw something at you, see if I've got the flavor right. Starbreakers is good for your Firefly campaign, your Guardians of the Galaxy campaign. And Phase World, since they're not going to convert Starfinder to Savage Worlds, this is the closest you can get to that kind of Star Fantasy feeling. Is that a fair summary?
Well, I would say the first part is true. I would say Guardians of the Galaxy would greatly fit into Phase World because, Guardians of the Galaxy, they're fighting people with amazing powers. You got Thor in there and stuff. So Guardians of the Galaxy is actually a better comparison to, the levels you could play that in would actually be quite fitting. You got Thor on your team. You could do that. You can have something like that. Phase World has Cosmo Knights. Okay. Literally guys who look like they're wearing armor but flying through space. Okay. You're not going to do that in Starbreaker.
That was one of my favorite things from the Rifts setting back in the day. Because, I mean, the 90s, I think we know chronologically they were just like 3 or 4 years ago. But if you look at a calendar, they were actually almost 30 years ago, sir. Not sure if you're aware. It's been a very long time, but yeah.
I'm only 54 years old. I don't remember back then.
It was a heady time. We had pants with big legs, and it was a whole thing.
I had the parachute pants. I graduated in 90.
Oh, dude, me too, 90. I'm right there with you. All right. I might have even popped my shirt collar once or twice, and a heady mood took me over. So, all right, cool. So, Phase World, that's more your Guardians of the Galaxy. Starbreaker, maybe that's more your
Mandalorian.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Babylon 5, big influence on that.
Okay, that makes sense. That's a very grounded kind of. You get some psionics, but it's gritty and grounded. So, all right, cool. That makes sense. And so we're talking March for Phase World, right? So people should go to tinyurl.com/phaseworldrpg, hit the button, and you'll be notified when things kick off, hopefully in March.
Should be.
But sometime in Q1, hopefully. So
yeah.
Maybe early Q2, but we're hoping for Q1. So
yeah, I really, really want to be in March. That's right. That's every goal is there. And honestly, the only thing that's going to slow me down is when we get to 1,000 people following, we're more likely to launch in March because there's what a lot of people don't know is like when you ask BackerKit for certain types of advertising, something, well, how many people do you have following your page? And when you hit just like, well, we like to see 1,000. We can do certain things if you hit that number. And so even if you're just following because you might be interested, but you may not buy, following still helps push us up and get us more noticed and helps with things. So even clicking just to help it's still helpful, even if you can't afford to purchase.
You're darn close. I just clicked notify on launch, so you're at 868 followers now. So,
Yes.
Yeah, you're getting there, man. You're getting
Working on it.
Working on it, getting there. Well, hey, we've been talking for 15 minutes. Do you mind if I talk about My Little Dog and Pony Show just real fast?
I love to tell me all about Starbeards. I'm excited.
All right. Well, let me break it out. Starbeards launched today. Not when it was supposed to. I had to call and yell at some people, backer kit. But it's launched. tinyurl.com/starbeards will take you right there. Lots of amazing art by Storm Cook, but
over 300% already.
Yeah, we smashed our first stretch goal at $800, and I just introduced a new one. So, it's had a good first few hours. So yeah, it's basically Deep Red Galactic for Savage Worlds, except Deep Red Galactic is focused on space miners doing, fighting bugs and doing space mine things. This is more focused on, dwarven commandos who help protect dwarven colonies and dwarven mines on the galactic frontier. Because I figured a whole RPG session just about, mining might be a bit much for your average group. So
might not be most people's preference.
Yeah, I do have rules for mining. And I have rules for recreational nighttime activities on this space rig, on your space station, robotic war goat rodeos, axe throwing, drinking to excess. Those are all things we have rules for. But yeah, also you're fighting orcs, you're fighting drow, you're crawling through dark space caves, fighting bugs. And beautiful art by Storm Cook. That's the cover image there.
Yeah, that one right there is really cool looking. I love that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I try to be the kind of publisher where I find artists I like and I say, make it look cool.
Yeah.
Just, lean into your strengths. And yeah, this is a beautiful image of a dwarf, and you can see an asteroid field and a star cruiser reflected in his faceplate on his spacesuit. And I would have never dreamed of that composition in 100 years.
And it's fantastic because it says so much about the setting that it draws you in, and I really like that, and I like the color on it. I just like everything about that image.
If you get a chance, if you can get him in a good mood, Storm Cook is an amazing artist, and this is poetry. I wasn't going to come up with this image on my own, so it's cool stuff. This is John Gibbons. Did the art for the After, which I know you're familiar with. Yeah, John's a great guy. A beautiful bit of art there. It's just a dwarf in some heavy battle armor, and John did some Warhammers mining implements for me too. More Storm Cook. Anyway, our first stretch goal was for this adventure with a map by John called Draco 12, where you're having to investigate an abandoned space dwarf mining colony where an old cyber dragon has taken up residence.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It was funded. Yeah, it might even sound familiar. But yeah, cool map, cool idea, funded $800. So that's gonna happen.
Maps look great too, by the way.
Say what?
The maps look great too, as well.
Yeah, John does amazing work. I can't say enough good things. So the next stretch goal that we announced, which is going to be, I think, $1,700, 1700, is Czar's Revenge. And if that sounds familiar to an old Atari 2600 game, I'm sorry, that's fully intentional. It's a rogue space station where space orcs have got a mad scientist cooking up more intelligent and devious versions of the space bugs that have been bedeviling the space dwarves of the Outer Rim. And
that sounds like a good idea.
As a dwarven commando, you've got to raid the station and eliminate these biological weapons of mass destruction before they can, worry your people anymore. And that we're about $800 away from that right now. So hopefully the next couple of weeks, but maybe tomorrow if we keep up momentum. And boy, I've been working on this setting for like 2 years now, sir. So I start talking about it, and I'm like, man, you're still talking. We have an action deck because of Savage Worlds. We have this poker deck, and I have a physical copy of it right here, which you can use for initiative and whatnot, with beautiful space dwarf art. And actually, you hooked me up with the artist for the poker deck. Thank you for that again. So
yeah, who's that? Who's the artist who did that one for you?
Most of the art is Jacob Blackman or Storm Cook, but I can't remember who did the he hooked me up with the layout person for the deck.
Oh, okay.
And
So,
yeah.
I got a question for you. I mean, you've mentioned you play the space dwarves. That's the main focus.
Yeah.
And you said there's orcs and there's drow, and what else are there for your? And what are the other enemies that potentially exist besides bugs, drow, and orcs? So far, as I remember.
I might have told the gazetteer, but we have the Goblin Co-Prosperity Sphere, which is a loose alliance of various chaotic goblin tribes just doing horrible things out there on the Galactic Rim. We have the Mechadons, who are basically, unholy marriage of the Borg and those salt shakers from Doctor Who. Yeah.
Not to be confused, legally distinct from Daleks, but very similar.
Legally distinct from both Daleks
and Borg,
Cylons, and Borg. Our own intellectually distinct brand of killer robot. We have Nocturnus, which is sort of Space and Loft, if you will. It's the creepy space vampire planet that is a rogue planet, like in Flash Gordon, floating through the outer rim, occasionally stopping to pillage colony worlds and mines with werewolf shock troops commanded by vampire overlords.
See that? Yeah, I don't think you've mentioned enough of this cool stuff about this, because when I first saw it, like all I could think of is dwarves and mining, and I didn't really feel like there was that much else in it until, like, I've been kind of following along and I caught someone's like, oh, this actually sounds better and better every time. And now you're just throwing even more cool stuff out there. I mean, that sounds awesome. Now, can you play anything other than a dwarf, or are you just focused on dwarves for now?
We're just focused on dwarves for now, but I mean, we're fully compatible with Sci-Fi Companion. So if you want to play, I wouldn't call them a Wookiee. I would call them a Granthanite. They're legally distinct. They are big, hairy guys. Loyal companions who have life debts, but they're not Wookiees. You don't play one of those guys? Right. You play one of those guys. We have a world of gel folks called Gelera. They're not Drasselites. Very legally distinct. But if you want to play gel folk, there are rules for that species in the Sci-Fi Companion.
What about space elves?
Well, the elves we got in our book are mainly arrogant bureaucrats in the core worlds, kind of messing things up. And the elves you encounter more are drow. If you want to play elves, there are rules, Fantasy Companion, for playing those, and you can absolutely port them over with a minimum of difficulty.
Sure, of course.
Humans, obviously, not that trouble. We have the Lizcathi, which are not Kilrathi. They are legally distinct, sir. Your cat people. They're tribal, feudalistic, and you have to do negotiations with them when you're dealing with some stuff in their solar system. So there's a lot of different factions. It's a rich backstory, a rich gazetteer. The focus, don't get me wrong. You're fighting orcs, you're fighting bugs, you're in mines. But we have a lot of adventure hooks and stat blocks that open up possibilities, for other things in the Galactic, rim there. So
that's cool. I mean, it sounds like a lot of fun. You should run an online session. I'll play.
I'll see what I can do, sir. I'll see what I can do. Well, hey, we've been talking for coming up on 25 minutes. I think we call it a show. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I mean, it's great. I'm glad to be here and talk about it all, and awesome.
All right. Well, hey, Brandon, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you very much. We've had some viewers tonight, so everybody, appreciate you watching us. Make sure to I'm on YouTube, so I'm legally required to say, like, subscribe, and tickle the bell. Man, I hate that. I hate those YouTube cliches. But
I mean, this is how we share and get things around.
That's fair. All right. Well, hey, folks, thanks for checking us out. We'll catch you next time on Savage Bamf.
Savage Bamf.
Savage Bamf. And we're